Think about it, he too easy to hate on. He was doing good in Canada. He was dancing with his white friend, Jewish uncle. They having bar mitzvahs, good investments. You feel me?
Yeah.
His mama family got that check. Kendrick going through it, bro.
Yeah.
He had a rough life. That's Drake shouldn't have messed with him anyway. You don't start no with nobody from Compton. Compton? Hell no. They've been running the rap game since '91.
Right.
Why would you do that? Out of all the people to beef with?
Not Like Us is already aging like fine wine, and it hasn't even been that long since Kendrick had everyone dancing on Drake's grave, leaving a lasting impact on the game.
What is the next move for Drake?
Lawsuit.
No.
He's gonna sue. Listen.
Why? He needs to sue all the investigators on Twitter have been pulling all the stories.
The investigators on Twitter ain't got to lose. Let me tell you something. Drake is half white.
Exactly.
Okay?
This is what
Y'all about to
talking
learn.
about.
Drake mama side of the family is like, oh no, Aubrey. No. This man is out here calling you a pedophile.
Not
Listen,
Aubrey.
there's probably people at Nike. There's probably people at Universal. There's people that got real vested interest in Drake. That is a multi-billion dollar entity.
Yeah.
They're like, you gotta protect your name. That rap. Call your cousin. Call your cousin, who's the lawyer.
Recently moved to file an 81-page lawsuit against Universal Music Group, UMG, over Kendrick Lamar's song Not Like Us, has taken the rap world by storm. Drake, who has been in numerous beefs throughout his career, claims that Kendrick's track was not only defamatory, but also had serious consequences on his personal life. According to Drake, the song caused a ripple effect that led to his family being publicly attacked, particularly his son Adonis, who was bullied because of the negative claims made about the family in Kendrick's lyrics. Drake, seemingly unable to let go of the beef, chose to turn his frustration into legal action. If he had simply dropped new music, gone on live streams, or participated in some viral TikTok trends, he might have been able to move on. But instead, the Canadian artist became consumed by the feud, and it's clear this is a battle he's not letting go of easily. His supporters, the so-called D-Riders, might conveniently forget how Drake kept poking at Kendrick in the past. After the release of Kendrick's track, Drake probably thought he'd put his opponent in his place with his Family Matters track, but now it seems that Kendrick's response has left Drake more shaken than he ever imagined. Drake has now pinned the blame on UMG, claiming that the label's decision to push Not Like Us to mainstream success is directly responsible for the chaos in his life. He argued that UMG chose profits over artist safety, continuing to promote the song even after they became aware of several incidents at his home. Drake's life, according to him, has been shattered because of the track. In May 2024, a group of armed attackers allegedly drove up to Drake's Toronto mansion and sprayed it with bullets while he and his family were inside. One of the bullets hit the front door, and a security guard was injured in the attack. A day later, another intruder tried to dig under the security fence of Drake's mansion. The guard caught him before he could do any more damage. Drake has some shady ties to small-time crimes in Toronto. He pinned these specific attacks on UMG's aggressive push of Not Like Us. Drake claims that UMG was so determined to promote Kendrick's song as a cultural phenomenon that they disregarded his safety. According to the lawsuit, the label continued their campaign for Kendrick's track even after they were aware of the violence surrounding Drake's home. Drake goes further to accuse UMG of a long-term strategy to undermine him. Kendrick had recently renewed his contract with Interscope Records, a division of UMG, and since the label owns Kendrick's entire catalog, they were motivated to push his music hard. As Kendrick's song climbed the charts, the song began to do more than just change the conversation. It started to erode Drake's reputation. UMG, according to Drake, used Kendrick's song as a way to create a cultural moment that ultimately hurt him. Not only did the song top the charts, but even non-rap fans were vibing to it. This success only compounded Drake's worries as the accusations made against him in the song began to carry more weight. As the public started scrutinizing his life for evidence to back Kendrick's claims, things started to spiral. The impact of the song even spread to Drake's son, Adonis. People at Adonis's school reportedly began bullying him, and posters calling Drake a PDF were put up around his Toronto neighborhood. This created a lot of tension for Drake, to the point where he was reportedly so worried about his son's safety that he pulled Adonis out of school and moved his family out of Toronto. Despite these serious claims, UMG initially refused to comment on the lawsuit. Sources close to the label say they tried to resolve things with Drake behind the scenes, hoping to convince him to drop the lawsuit, but when he refused to budge, UMG issued their own statement, dismissing the allegations. They stated that not only were the claims untrue, but it was illogical to suggest that the label would seek to harm Drake's reputation in any way. They reminded everyone that UMG had invested massively in Drake's career over the years and helped him achieve historic success. In their response, UMG also turned the tables on Drake. They accused him of being hypocritical for now attempting to silence Kendrick's creative expression through the legal system. UMG pointed out that Drake had used the label to distribute his own music and engage in rap beefs for years, only to now weaponize the legal process to shut down another artist's work. The label emphasized how Drake's career had benefited from these back and forths and that his current legal action was a way to seek damages for something that was, in their view, a legitimate artistic expression. While UMG had a strong case to counter Drake's lawsuit, it's hard to ignore some of the hypocrisy in Drake's position. The lawsuit highlights how Drake expressed concern about the impact of Kendrick's song on his son Adonis. However, when it came to Kendrick's family, Drake didn't seem to consider the impact of his own lyrics, particularly when he called Kendrick a wife-beater in Family Matters. This was a direct jab at Kendrick's personal life, but now Drake is claiming that Kendrick's words about his family were unacceptable. The controversy surrounding Drake's legal action and the entire situation has raised a lot of questions about his own behavior. Drake's history of questionable relationships with younger women, which some have described as inappropriate, has also come under fire. The evidence, seen all over the internet, paints a less than ideal picture of his actions in the past. The allegations against Kendrick Lamar could have severely impacted his reputation and family, especially if Family Matters had been the bigger hit in 2014. At that time, Kendrick was already facing controversies, including rumors that he was involved in an altercation with a white woman in Vegas. Word around town was that Kendrick's PR team intervened, pressuring the woman to settle and ensuring all evidence of the confrontation was erased from the internet. This happened when Whitney, Kendrick's fiancée at the time, was also involved, adding more layers to the situation.
I got told to go up to her room to help some girl get down to the casino because she was scared. She ends up being all bloody and everything. Oh, good. Oh, yeah, it was lovely. So I'm like, oh, crap. And so I had to call, like, my supervisor, then I had to call my other supervisor, then I had to call my boss. And I was like, we got a situation. Because, like, half of her face was, like, blown out pretty much. Oh, so God. I'm like, oh, lovely. And come to find out, she was with a certain rapper who had...
was his first name Lil?
No.
That'll narrow it down.
His first name was Kendrick.
Beat some guy bloody and did something to some female. Yeah. And they said they had evidence and all of this. And then I never heard anything about it again.
Yeah, because it's foolishness. Mm-hmm. That's the most ignorant stuff I ever heard made up.
I was like, Kendrick did that? I doubt it.
And, you know, that person who ever made that up owes an apology. Not to me, but to women that actually go out there and get a you dig what I'm saying? That's a real issue, and to be putting a person name that that stands for someone way more better that's been raised and way more better than that.
There's another story about Kendrick allegedly stepping out on his wife with a Becky in Copenhagen, and Kendrick later opened up about his past addiction on his album Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. If Family Matters had been as successful as Kendrick's Not Like Us, it could have rocked his family life, especially with accusations of domestic violence, which are no joke. Drake's lawsuit against UMG for using the same tactics that fueled his own career seems more like a desperate attempt to avoid admitting that Kendrick bested him. He's trying to frame it as a fight against the system to help artists, but let's be real. Drake's never been about looking out for others.
This whole conversation that's been positioned about Drake doing this to help other artists is not about no other artists, it's about himself. Had he won the battle, he would have not filed nothing. He would have not filed nothing. Instead of saying soft, they say Drake.
Drake has been accused of outright stealing songs and content from lesser-known artists throughout his career, and his lawsuit against UMG raises more red flags. The only streamers and creators he mentions in the lawsuit are Black creators like Kai and Kat, while ignoring others like XQC and Odin Ross, who also helped promote and review Not Like Us. It seems Drake is using this lawsuit as leverage to pressure advertisers and Super Bowl organizers, hoping to prevent Kendrick from performing the song on such a massive stage. If Drake somehow wins this case, it could set a dangerous precedent, limiting the kinds of songs rappers can release without the fear of being sued. This lawsuit isn't about fairness.
Now,
it's about stopping Kendrick
knows
at
that,
all costs.
Right? This is not a good thing for Drake. It can't be, right? I don't care what his fans try to say. It can't be. Drake can never defeat UMG. There is no artist that can defeat UMG. You can't. It can't.
People are calling out Drake because for someone who claims to champion the culture, his true colors are starting to show in a troubling way. At this point, Drake has done more to promote Not Like Us than Kendrick or UMG ever did. He's the one holding hip-hop back from moving past this moment. The real irony is how much money Black creators have made off this beef, probably the most Drake has ever contributed back to the culture. It's wild how Drake was called a colonizer in this hip-hop feud, and his response is to turn to the legal system. What do you think about all this? Share your thoughts in the comments and make sure to check out the next video.
Lawyer.